You'll look like a vendor instead of an expert. Experts talk outcomes, vendors talk parts. And if you're in the weeds, you are signaling. Let's talk about something that kills MSP deals every single day: getting into the weeds. I've seen it over and over again. Your proposals start looking like technical manuals, tools lists, line items, vendors' logos. You think you're proving value, but what you're really doing is training your prospects that you are a commodity. And here's the truth: the more weeds you get into, the less likely you are to close that deal. So today I want to break this down: why your proposal should never look like a technical deep dive, what to do instead, and how to keep the right balance during your sales process. First thing, let's separate sales calls from proposals because they're not the same thing. Your sales calls are where you help your clients understand the experience of working with you. You walk them through what life looks like once they are under your umbrella. You explain the big shifts they'll feel, not the specs of the tools. And yes, you'll explain some tools, but only through the lens of the client's experience. That's the key. Your proposals, that's not part of the sales process. That's the closure of the sales process. By the time you slide that proposal across the table, the client should already know your delivery, already know how it works, and already feel like you're the right fit. The proposal should simply confirm what's already been discussed. That includes the scope, the outcome, the investment, and the next steps. Nothing more. Now, let me give you some practical examples because I don't want you to hear me say something like, don't get into the weeds and think that I mean to never talk about your services. No, we just frame them differently. Take whitelisting, for example. Most MSPs would say something like, we deploy application whitelisting, which prevents unauthorized executables from running, blah, blah, blah. That just doesn't land. The client doesn't care about executables. They may not even know what one is. Instead, here's how you frame it: we've worked hard to identify the biggest gaps in security, and we close them. And look, we expect people to be human. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to click on the wrong thing. They might download something they shouldn't. And when they do, when that happens, our system doesn't allow that program to run without our approval. Every app is reviewed before it's ever touching your environment. So even if you went as far as to download ransomware, go ahead, but you couldn't run it because we validate everything. That's how we keep you safe. See the difference? You're painting a picture. You're showing them what life looks like under your protection. Here's another one: SOC monitoring. Most MSPs will say, we have 24/7 SOC monitoring on your systems and log collection for Microsoft 365. Again, that's the weeds. Instead, try something like, cybersecurity is all about layers. You get web filters, email security, antivirus, application whitelisting, all of those pieces. But on top of that, we add what we call the safety net. It's like jumping out of an airplane. You've got your parachute, but if it fails, you still want another one. Our SOC is that safety net. Real people, 24/7, 365, constantly watching your systems and your Microsoft 365 environment. If something slips through, they're on it instantly. You don't just have technology, you have a human team standing guard. Now, that's not weeds, that's client experience. That's storytelling. And that's what sticks. Now, let's talk about why getting into the weeds can actually hurt you. When you list out your tools in a proposal, clients will do three things. First, they'll start cherry picking you. They'll ask you what they can get rid of, how they can cut this out to save money. You're training them to nickel and dime you. Two, they'll start comparing. They'll take your list, stack it up against the other MSP's list. Now you're not a strategic partner anymore. You're just a grocery list being shopped. And three, you'll look like a vendor instead of an expert. Experts talk outcomes, vendors talk parts. And if you're in the weeds, you are signaling insecurity. It's like saying, please trust me. Look at all these tools I use, instead of saying, trust me, I got you covered. And let me be blunt: if a prospect refuses to trust you until you dump every single technical detail, that's a red flag. They don't see you as an expert. And if they don't see you as an expert now, they'll never see you as an expert. Think about your CPA. Do you know every single piece of software they use? Do you know the workflows behind the scenes? No, you don't care. You care about the outcomes. You care about your taxes being filed on time, make sure that you're compliant, and that you don't get audited. That's it. Same with your doctor. You don't know the brand of sutures they use or which version of imaging software they use for the MRI machine. You care about the diagnosis. You care that they treat you and they keep you healthy. It's no different in IT. Your clients don't care about your RMM, your SIM, or your endpoint detection. They care about uptime. They care about security. They care that when they go home at night and they lay their head down on their pillow, that they don't have to worry that tomorrow they're going to wake up being hacked. That's the outcome. And that's all that matters. So let me hit this one more time because it's so important. The sales process is where you give context. You show your experience and you build trust. The proposal process is where you close. You don't resell, you don't re explain, you simply present the agreement to move forward. If you're still trying to sell in the proposal, you probably already lost the deal. So here's the takeaway. Stop turning your proposals into product catalogs. Stop dragging prospects into the weeds of your stack. Use your sales conversations to tell the stories and highlight those experiences. Paint that picture. Make them feel what it's like to be under your protection. And when it comes time for your proposal, keep it clean, keep it high level, and keep it outcome driven. If you do that, you'll stop confusing your prospects. You'll stop attracting the wrong ones and you'll start closing the right ones faster and with less resistance. Now, if you found this simple, if it clicked with you, do me a favor, hit the like, hit the share, and get this in front of other MSP owners who might need to hear it. And if you want to dive even deeper into these strategies, grab a copy of my book, The High Performance MSP, and get ready because coming October 1st is my new book, Profit by Time. Both of these are packed with exactly the kind of mindset and business strategies we talk about here on MSP After Hours. That's how to stop getting into the weeds and start closing like a high performance MSP.